Welcome everyone, my name is Cricket from Cricket's Door Decor. Today we're going to do a Valentine's Day wreath. We're using a raised work form and 21-inch mesh, 10-inch mesh. These both came from Joannes, and we're going to do this heart sign, very pretty. And this came from Wreath of Joy, and I'll put everything in the description box where it came from and the SKU number so you can get it. We're using two 1.5-inch ribbons and two 2.5-inch ribbons. And I'm going to start off by doing 10-inch poofs around the whole base with the 21-inch mesh. So let's get that started. I like to keep my little tags on the side so I can price my wreaths that way. And let's see, the work form came from, did I take the tag off for it? Oh, here it is. This came from Craft Outlet. Okay. So this is, it's a pretty white mesh, and it's got like little sparklies in it, and it's got a little hint of pink. So I thought that'd be really pretty. So we're gonna drop that to the floor there. And I'm just going to fold this in and kind of squish it up so it makes like this bubble here, like this. I'm just going to pick any tie and put it down. You're going to need 3 zip ties. Okay, and I'm going to zip tie it right to the frame. You're going to open this tie up and just lay it down in there, and then zip tie it right next to the ties here. Cut that off, and I'm just going to cut this down a little bit, even it out, make it look a little cleaner. Okay, so you're just going to take your hand, you see how it folds under like this, and you're just going to run your hand across it like that, and you're going to measure out 10 inches. And you're just going to do this all the way around the top. And then we're going to take it down to the bottom after that. You're going to pull out your little poofs. Get stuck on my table. I'm just going to reach in there and find the ends and just pull them so it makes a big bubble like that. And just twist it a couple times. So you're going to find the end there and just pull it. have several different methods you can use. This is just one that I prefer. I seem to find that it's a little bit quicker than cutting a whole bunch of mesh and then rolling it all up. But I do a couple different ones. And it does make a nice full fluffy wreath. It'll be about 28 inches when it's complete. And you can also do this on a Dollar Tree frame if you don't want to spend the money on these work forms. They are a little bit more expensive. And you could just make the ties mimic the same as this with 8 on the top and 10 on the bottom. Okay, so now we're at the last tie. This was the last one. I'll open it up again. This is where we started, and we're just going to lay that right on top of that. And then we're going to go directly down, like right next to the, just pick the next tie that's closest, and you're going to bring this over, open this up, but you're going to zip tie it right next to that, right next to the tie. Pick that up, and I'm going to skip this tie. You're gonna bring your mesh up over it. You're going to leave it open, but go to the next tie, because we're going to come back around to this tie and finish it off there. Mesh sure does stick to everything, huh? And you can start on the bottom, you can start on the top, it doesn't really matter. Either way. Fluff them when I'm done. You can either do it as you go along or in the end, it doesn't matter. So now we're at the last tie, well, the first one that we started at. So as you can see, this is where we tied it off, and this one is open. So we're just going to take this and lay it right down in that tie. And close it off. And then you're going to cut off this excess here, and we're going to tuck it under the wreath frame. anywhere. All right, let's go back and fluff up our poofs. So you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to reach inside and find that edge. And just pull them out. Okay, so now we're going to cut our mesh. I'm going to put this aside for a minute. And you have 18 ties. So we're going to cut 18 pieces at about 19 inches. And I'm using a rotary cutter. If you don't have one, you can, I don't know, use a wood burning tool if you have that, or scissors, I guess. So we're just going to cut 19 inches. You're going to cut the whole roll. So we're going to do the crumple method, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And what I do is take the end and you just roll it in a couple times, about 2 times. And then I use a clip, and I just clip it, and then turn it, and do the same thing. Roll it in, and then you're going to take your fingers and just walk it up, and it makes this nice little tie, bow tie. And then you just lay it down in your ties. I like to open mine back up. You don't have to do that. You can lay it down on there if you want, right on top of the tie. And you're just going to do this all the way around. Top and bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we finished putting the 10-inch mesh all the way around in each tie, and we got a nice poofy base. We're going to set that off to the side for a second, and we're going to take our sign. I'm going to take off the stickers, hopefully. And get this off without ripping. Alright, so we're going to cut off this right here, this string that comes on it, and I'm going to put some pipe cleaners on it. And for my wood signs, I use a staple gun, and this I got from Home Depot. I'll link in the description. And I use 1/4" staples in here so that it doesn't go through my sign. So we're just gonna put a couple staples in there. Do each corner here. And then one down at the bottom. Let's get our sign on. I think I'm going to put it on the side here. I'm going to use a little plastic needle. It's a yarn needle, crochet needle, I don't know, but it's plastic. And I'll also link those in the description box. And I just use them to help me get through the mesh. Or you could just, well, this one is going to go right through there, so I don't really need it there, but. But it does help get through the mesh, and I'll show you that in a second. And I just tie this around the wire frame. We're going to loosely tie it right now in case we have to move it. More on an angle like that. I'm not sure. Loose thread here. Let me see. I think I want to move it a little. Oh, it was good where it was. Quite sure. Maybe here. Thinking more like this, and then maybe a bow here. Maybe we want. Oh, I think I'm going to go with my original plan. So I'm going to start with this one up at the top. And this is where our little needle will come in handy, because we're going to go right through the mesh. And any ties that are underneath here, I kind of tie off, because that one I might leave though, but we're not going to be using ribbon in those because the sign is covering it. This one we might though, so I'll leave that one. And this just helps get through the mesh. And then I just tie it around the frame here. Gonna twist it. And we'll come back later and cut off those ends. gonna take off this one. Probably should have placed the sign before I put the pipe cleaners on. Maybe I'll do a little this way. I'm so undecided. Yeah, and I think we'll do the bow down here. I don't know, I kind of wanted it sideways. So let's redo that. I want it to go sideways, so I think we're going to move this. Just going to take out those. See, crafting is not perfect. It's a lot of changes and things as you go along. Let's see. We want it sideways, like this. I think I'm gonna put the zip tie right. I mean the pipe cleaner right about here. So let's do that again. All right. So let's start off with the middle one so I know exactly where I am. That's better. For this one, I'm going to go through the mesh because I don't want to move the mesh. I want it to stay where it is. I don't want to go around it. So I'm just going to go right through it with the needle. And I'm going to find that bar underneath there and just twist it around. Let's tighten these up some. All right. So this tie that's underneath here, I'm not going to put ribbon in there, so I'm just going to twist it and kind of push it down underneath. I'm going to put ribbon here and probably in this one. bow right about here. So we probably won't need this tie either. So we're just gonna tie that, just keep twisting it, and then just tuck it in there. So that's, we know where our bow is gonna go. That's how I remember anyway. All right. So let's make a bow. I use the bow maker. I am not one of those people that can make a bow by hand. I mean, I can do the little ones, but just have like 2 loops, but I am not all that talented. So let's start off with the, we'll do the pink. And then the gold, and then this one, and we'll end up with the pink on the top, I think. Yeah. I think that's what we'll do. Or maybe we'll do this. Let's do this way. We're going to do 4 of these, 3, 2, and 1, I think. Because I want a pretty big bow. And this is it's a pretty pink, like crystal shine. And again, I'll link all the ribbons down. I'll link them in the description box. We just dovetail the end. You fold the 2 edges together, and then you're going to cut up towards the end. Let's see, we want about, I'm thinking a 10-inch tail. Let's see. No, maybe longer. This is going to be about 10 inches. We're going to do a 10-inch tail, and you just put it down in the bow maker and twist. So that the wrong side of the ribbon is facing up. And we're going to do a 7-inch loop. So you're going to measure out 7 inches, put your ribbon down in, and you're going to twist again. So now my ribbon gets all another 7 inches. I don't know if 7 inches is going to be too big. Let me look. Yeah, I think 7 is a little bit too big. We're going to do 6 inches. Okay, we're going to measure out 6 inches. You're going to put it down in and twist. We're going to do 4. Do we want to do 4? Yeah, we're going to do 4. 4 loops, 2 on each side. And we're going to cut the tail, same length. And dovetail the edge. Oh, my little fuzzies from the wreath frame, the little tinsel things. Alright, so we got our 4 loops and our 2 tails. Then we're going to go in with this one. And we're going to dovetail again, dovetail your ends. Same length. Going to put it down and twist. And we're going to bring it in just a 1/2 inch to 5 1/2. And this one we're only going to do 2 loops. Okay, 2 loops, cut the tail, and dovetail it. And cut up towards the folded edge. Oh my gosh, look at me doing the wrong thing here. This one a little shorter. And then I think we'll do, should we put the gold on top? No, we'll put the pink on top. And this is the 1 1/2. We're going to do 2 loops of this. I'm sorry, 2 loops on each side. And again, each time I bring it in a 1/2 inch, so we're going to go to 5. You can just move your tails out of the way so you can see your measurements. I don't worry too much about the length of the tails because I usually cut it when I get it on the wreath. And then we're going to put this pretty lace one on the top. And this one, I'm not going to dovetail this. I'm going to cut this at an angle. Let's get this down in here first. And I like these a little longer so that you can kind of curl them like this. So I'm going to leave that for now. And this one's only going to get one loop on each side. And then maybe we'll do a center loop as well. Okay, so this one's going to be a 1/2 inch shorter again. This is going to go down to like 4 1/2. And this is just me. I mean, you can do it however you like. You know, you can come in 1 inch each time. You can make them smaller, whatever you like. Okay, now for this, what I do is I twist again and I go around this peg right here and twist. That's how I make my center loop. I know people do it different, so you can do it however you'd like to do it. And then I take my zip tie and get a pipe cleaner, and I take the zip tie. I'm going to get a bigger one. Longer one, and I go underneath all the ribbon, and then I go right through this loop right here that I made. lift the whole thing up and kind of put my fingers in that loop there and pull it around and put the pipe cleaner through your zip tie. Oh, I got a dud zip tie. Nice. Let's try that again. My whole bow fall apart because I don't normally do this by hand. I'm just going to tighten it up. Cut off the end of your zip tie there. And now we're going to fix our bow. So we've got our little center loop. What I'd like to do is grab onto the zip tie here and just hold it while I pull all my ribbon where I want them. And pull all the tails down. Fluff out our loops. And there we go. So that's what it's going to look like. You can also, I always fix it when it's on the wreath as well. So we're going to put that on. And again, I'm using this spot here for my bow. So I'm just going to go around that tie area and secure it onto the metal frame. I'm not sure if I like it up here or here. I think we're going with this one. Sorry. See, it changed. That's the thing about crafting. You change your mind. So I'm going to undo this tie because we're going to use that for a ribbon. And I'm going to twist off this tie here. And we're going to use that spot for the bow. You don't want to tie it too tight because you don't want your bow to sink into the mesh. Let me get this out of the way. So we got some room and you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so again, I'm just fluffing pulling the tails down. Okay, so this is kind of a big wreath, so it doesn't really fit in the frame, but this is the bow. And then what I'm going to do is just take a look at my tails and make sure that they're all kind of even. Which they are, except the pink ones, so I'm just going to trim that up. like to have my these going opposite each other. And then what I do is I just take my fingers and kind of roll it in my fingers like that. And then gently pull on it. And it makes little curlies. Again, you just take it and roll it. Just roll, 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 roll. You can go all the way up like this. And then just pull it and it makes, let's do this one again. Go all the way up. You just keep rolling it all the way up and then just pull it down and it makes little curlies. So now we're going to do our ribbon tails. So we have two spots that we've blocked off with the sign and the bow. So normally you would need 9 of each. So we're only going to cut 8. We're going to do 8 of each. And I cut my red tails at 13 inches. That's just normally what I do. You can do 12, you can do 14, you can do whatever you want. So we're going to do 8. I think, hopefully, it comes out right. Because I don't know what actually goes in that spot. We'll figure it out along the way. If we have to cut extra one, we will. And then you just see where it opens up right there. Just slide you can measure it out on your, your cutting mat, however you want to do it. This is a ribbon tail board that I got off of Etsy. You could buy them in sets for 12, 13, and 14 inches. And all I'm doing is taking these and folding them in half and cutting up towards the folded edge to give it a dovetail. Just kind of line them all up. And then fold it over. Do each one at 13 inches. And again, this one here, I'm not going to dovetail. I'm going to cut it at an angle just because it has that scallop edge. And I kind of like it better that way, but that's only my, that's my preference. So I'm just going to fold it over again. And then just cut at an angle. Same thing with this one, just going to fold it over. And cut at an angle. The next one. These ribbon boards are really nice. They're made out of acrylic and your ribbon just slides right off. And these for dovetailing as well. Have one more to cut. Same thing, we're going to fold them over and dovetail it. So what I like to do, and this is my personal preference, because a lot of times when I'm making wreaths, I'm live and I'm talking to a lot of people and I get confused on what I'm doing. So I make these little ribbon bundles. So what I do is I take the two ribbon together and fold them in half. Hold on, I want these going down. And I just fold them in half and set them aside. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with each one of these so you don't have to sit here and watch me do all that. And then I'll be back. Okay, so let's get into putting our ribbon tails on. And this is what I do. I just make bundles. And then I open them up. And I kind of put like this one down towards the bottom of this one so that it kind of fans out. And I just walk my fingers up. So then I have them like this so you can see both ribbon. And this is just one way you can do it. There's several different ways. But that's what I'm going to do for this one. I'm just laying it down on the tie and twisting it. And then I just kind of bend this in. Turn this more so you can see. I just bend it and fold it in. You can cut it off. You can leave it out. It just depends on what you want to do. So again, same thing. I'm just putting it at the bottom. Just laying it down on the tie and twisting. And I'm just alternating the ribbon. do this all the way around. So I'm going to do that all the way around, and I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, so we're done with all the ribbon tails. It's a big wreath. It's very big. It measures about 28 inches. It's hard to fit it all in the frame here, but it's done. And if anybody has any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm going to link all the items that I used and where you could buy them in the description box. And yeah, that's it, guys. If you liked the video and you want to see more, please like, share, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I will be starting to go live here on YouTube as TikTok is going away, we think, so look to see me there as well. Alright guys, see you next time.